Singles event here in Birmingham, Alabama. Tonight is Mingle and Matched at Adios Bar in downtown. Let's see how it goes.
6.5 hours later.
Little update. Met a few people, was kind of interested in one, gave my number out, didn't text me, so at least we put ourselves out there. But it was a fun night. There was good drinks, there was good quality people. I felt like everyone there, was kind of on the same level field. There was a lot more girls and guys, so it was like every guy had like 4 or 5 girls on them, and I'm just like not gonna push my way through. But I gave my number out. Well, technically I gave my number to a friend to give to him after we left, and then I changed my mind. So they gave it to him. I haven't heard anything, so oh well, at least I put myself out there. All right, see y'all at the next one.
So basically you were passive, and you didn't really go for what you want. You didn't show the confidence. Why would a man pick you if you didn't show any confidence? I'm joking. But I hope you understand, the difficulty. And when a man says, if she's got all that happening around her and she's not made herself available, I'm not interested.
My dating events are not just for single people in New York City. You kind of have to be a very intentional dater. I've hosted 10 events this last year, and I've realized that men and women are very different when it comes to intentional dating. I obviously can't speak for men, but as a woman, here's what I've noticed. My events are not free. And not that it should matter, but I don't really make money off of this. I'm paying a lot to venues. I pay a lot in website domain fees, maintenance, Type 4 memberships. There's a lot of money that's going out. But my events have been priced between $24 and $160, with the average ticket cost across all my events landing around $70 to $80. And I've had over 200 women pay that cost, sometimes even that hefty cost of $160. Coming to a dating event is kind of the equivalent of paying on a first date. So you have these women who have probably been societally taught to not pay for a first date, paying for their first date. Now, if you're gonna fight me on that rule, just ask yourself, if you're a man and you were to have a son, are you gonna teach him to go 50-50 on a first date? Yeah. At my dating events, I've had women pay and invest their dollar because they feel that it's worth it to them to invest and take charge in their dating life. Of course, just as a man does, you can always go out to the bars, you can go out to the park, you can talk to people in real life, you can meet people for free. And I'll even add that for women, we have that added perk of going on first dates with men and getting a comped meal or comped drinks. But the thing is, when you get to a certain point in your adulthood, especially if you're a woman who has education, her finances in order, community, and agency over her life, you cannot dangle this idea of free meals over her and think she will accept that as the only method of dating. That's like shaking a bag of cat treats in my face and expecting me to run over as if I'm some domestic helpless kitty. If you're a single man, you'd rather go out to the bars to hit on women, flirt with them, take them home, take them on a date, etc. That is up to you. I am not trying to take business away from the bars. If you're a single man and you want to meet women who are intentional, who are so down to be in a room full of intentional singles that they would pay for a first date experience out of their own pocket, that's the kind of people that I'm trying to curate here. Anyways, I hope you'll join me for my 11th, 12th, and 13th Take Two event in the next 2 weeks, and I'll see you there.
Out of touch with reality. That's what we're seeing here. Somebody who is out of touch with reality. They don't listen. They're talking about what women do, yada, yada, yada. Doesn't matter. Men are not doing that anymore. Men have to pay for everything. What would you teach your sons? To find a woman that's interested in them, and then maybe spend money on her that's actually interested? Number one. Number two, this is not a date. This is an event. Just pay for the event. If men don't want to come to your event, then maybe you have a problem. But of course, it couldn't be your fault, right?
I recently did a live where I looked at where all the men have gone, right? And this was in response to a question that I saw really on TikTok, where I came across this whole side of TikTok where women were basically complaining about the fact that they had a very hard time finding men to connect with.
It's funny that these women don't know where the good men are, and the answer is literally everywhere. They would rather feel sorry for themselves than play within their own league. Men that might actually be, potential boyfriends and then eventual husbands, whatever. Like, they're just not connecting with real men. And so, after having conversations and really having had the opportunity to talk with countless men, some who are married, some who are single by choice, I have to say there are a few things that I have noticed, especially now with today's dating market. One, there are men who are just checked out, completely checked out of the dating market. Different reasons for this.
Some believe that they're just not really going to be getting a good deal. It's a very confusing dating dynamic. And there are men out there who are just like, I want nothing to do with it. And so there's that. You have other men who are just grabbing their passports. They're just like, they want a woman who's more traditional. They want a woman who is maybe coming from a culture from very early on. They are taught to be wives, or taught to value being a wife. They're taught to value family. And it's just harder to come across that, in America. And then you have, like I said, other guys also who feel like just engaging in a relationship with a woman today, or with a modern woman, is akin to chaos, and that they would prefer to go to the gym. They prefer to go to the gym, maybe play video games, work out, work. You know what I mean? They keep like a pretty small circle. And again, they've also disengaged because they're just, they see relationships as connected to chaos.
A dude here in the comments that said going to a singles event as a normal dude is like condensing a couple of years worth of rejections into one soul-crushing, self-esteem destroying 2-hour period. I love that. I love that. That's exactly what this is. But of course, once again, the woman that was talking about putting on the event, saying that men aren't willing to pay for these singles events, she'll never hear that. Men are telling you exactly why they're not coming to these things. It's soul-crushing. Instead of portioning out my rejection like a pill or a daily dose, I get to have it all at once. And the women are saying, close your mouth, drink, just stop complaining and take this rejection therapy, take this rejection medicine. And a man is saying, no thanks, I can get rejected for free. Pass.
Okay, if you live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and are single and looking to mingle, but specifically have high standards and you're tired of going to the bars and meeting the same people over and over again, I have a question for you. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, and honestly, I kind of thought maybe I would keep this idea and just do it for my best friends who are single, like guys and girls, both mine and my husband's. But I feel like this would be really cool for just anyone. What if I hosted a bachelor-inspired mixer? More specifically, I would send out an application where everybody just says a little bit about themselves, expectations, boundaries, standards, all that kind of stuff, and then host it and have kind of like games where everybody matches and mixes, and it's a little bit like speed dating but not actually, so that it takes off the pressure off of meeting somebody new, but also you have more qualified people at this event. Would that be fun, and would you come?
There's a woman in the comments that said, sorry bestie, there are a ton of companies and friends groups that do these types of meetups. The market is flooded here in Charlotte, but I think some of the matchmaking businesses would love this idea. So maybe you do with that info what you will. So basically talk to them about it and work with them. The market's too flooded. Instead of listening to that instruction and saying women already have too many of these things to go to, she decides to say, well, this wouldn't be a company, this is going to be a one-time event. What I'm trying to tell you is people are already doing that. It's already being done, and the men still aren't coming. If they're not coming to the events that the major companies are putting on and the major matchmaking partnerships or whatever are doing, why would they come to yours? Well, she says it right here. I would pour all my love into it. I wanted to feel like a big game night with dinner and our friends. But we're not friends though, are we? We're men trying to get picked. We're men in the position of somebody that's begging and groveling at the feet of these women, because you just said they have standards. And so those standards are probably going to come with contempt, condescension, an attitude.
At every singles event, it's all women.
Yeah.
That's exactly
I don't want to do them anymore because it's so hard to get men to sign up. And I had one a few weeks ago, and one of the guys was like, please do this again. This was awesome. I'm like, I will do it again if you promise to get friends to come. Like, it's so hard to get guys to sign up. And he's like, no, why would I want more competition?
Yeah.
But why? Like, I guess both perspectives. Like, what do you think? But also as a guy. So if you told me when I was 27, hey, there's a singles event where there's going to be 20 to 25 really cool women, I'd be like, yeah, like that's sick. Like, why would I not go? I go to the bar to meet the single woman.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I go to the singles event where they actually want to meet me too?
Yeah.
But as guys, why did we never go to them?
Yeah, doesn't it take away like the thing of rejection? Like,
well, my perspective was this. I feel like guys are super sensitive to get rejected. And when you go to a singles event, there's an expectation that you should hook up or you should meet somebody.
Yeah.
And if you don't, it's like, oh, well, you got rejected. And maybe if you hit on somebody there and they don't like you, it's very in your face.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get rejected at a bar, it's so like sugar coated and it's so like
kind of disappears.
You can disappear or like just pretend like something happened. You could hide.
Guy here in the comments said, would a woman want to go to a men's dating event and get rudely rejected 25 times in one night? There's your answer. Another guy says, why would I pay for a ticket to get rejected? There was a woman a few clips ago, I think. She said she started her own dating events and women will pay the $160 tag. Oh, my dates range from, I think she said, what, 20 or something like that to like $160 or $200 or something like that. And she said the women are willing to pay the price tag in order to get in, so why aren't men? Why are y'all being lazy, basically, in so many words? She didn't say that, but that's essentially what she was saying. Because women don't go to very many singles events, and so they only have to pay $200. If they only have to pay $200 like every 5 years, what's the breakdown of that? What's the cost of that monthly? $200 every so often. And a man, he's got to pay for that event. Mind you, he's going to pay $160 to $200 for that event. And then he's got to take her out on a date. She only spent $200. He's got to pay for the date. And then he's got to pay for flowers. And then he's got to pay for another date. Then he's got to pay for little gifts and trinkets and stuff like that. Then he's got to give her more flowers. And then he's got to, maybe it's around Christmas time. It's Thanksgiving right now. Halloween's coming up. All right, you get a present for Halloween. Does that sound stupid? Absolutely it does. But, you know, it's a holiday, so I want something. Buy me an outfit or take me out to this, whatever it is, right? A man is going to have to pay for that. Y'all are still sitting at $160, $200. He's past that. He's sitting about $1,000 at least. And we just went to the event. We just came from the event within like 2 or 3 months. So no, it's not comparable. You guys are, this is why men not showing up to these singles events.
Let me get this straight. Black women can't use dating apps to meet men. Black women can't go to singles events to meet men. Black women can't meet men at random restaurants and bars. So like, where the hell else can they meet men? I've heard people say like, join running clubs, join different types of fitness clubs, so on and so forth. But also black women are not allowed to approach men. It just seems like no matter what black women do in terms of dating, they're always at a disadvantage. They're always doing something wrong. They're always not getting something right. And it just feels like a never ending cycle of being told of what you can't do because of X, Y, and Z reasons. And that is very, very daunting and exhausting to deal with because everybody is going to find something wrong with what you do. But yet, if you stay home and just mind your business and never put yourself out there, it's going to be your fault that you are not partnered because you don't leave your house and put yourself out there. But when you do leave your house, everywhere you go is wrong. Everything you do is wrong. So like, what the hell is the truth? Because if you can't go to Bella Noche's, where the hell else could you go?
I think maybe out of all the clubs that you guys are joining, maybe you guys should start joining like an attitude club. You know, something like, I know you go to therapy, but like maybe you can join a club to like specifically fix your attitude. I don't think that's even just for black women. I think that's for just for modern women in general. You know, maybe you guys can do that, and I'm sure, well, those probably wouldn't fill up, but if somebody committed to it, imagine the matches that they would get on dating apps.
Went to a singles mixer.
Fellas, where y'all at? All them ladies. I love the ladies. Send me the addy, I'ma slide on you. Cause I ain't see a man in sight. What's going on down there? Where you at? Where you at? Where the guys at? I know it ain't that hard out there. I know it ain't getting on y'all. I know that's cap. I know it's cap.
Now he know he not going. He already got a woman. He know he ain't gonna be there. Quit playing around.
Kendra G had a black singles event in Philly. Black men did not show up. Kendra G had a black singles event in Philly. So, I'm in between New York City and Philly, Jersey. Us black men up here in the Northeast do not want nothing to do with no black women in Philly. Too masculine, too ghetto, and no. So anyway, black women were all there. It was like about like 50 black women. No black men showed up. Kendra G she didn't even go. One black man showed up. Everything the black women want, you know, the height requirement, the salary and all of that, but he looked and said, and just hauled, he just said, skirt, out of there. Kendra, why would you do that? You know that's the left. The black women that go to black single events are either washed up, hit the wall, past their prime, fat, or -9s. Let's just be honest. And if they fat, they over the wall. Man, never mind. I don't even think they go up the wall. At this, I'm just saying, if males had let's reverse and say males had a requirement where you have to have no wigs, no fake lace fronts, whatever. No hair hats, natural hair, slim, maybe thick, slim thick, has to be feminine, and has to only make a certain amount of money. Now, how would that sound? And you can't be single moms. Oh my God, that would eliminate about 80% of you black women. Boom, there it is.
Due to the comments, they said the best singles event is at any international airport in Southeast Asia. Another guy said, my big bro said the parking lot was full of Ultimas and 08s. Another guy said, winter is here. Another dude said, welcome Passport Brothers, Latin America and Southeast Asia is waiting. Unfortunately for you guys, whether you believe it's right or wrong, this is what it's come to. Men have decided this is not for me. I've tried, I've spent money. This is not for me. Once again, we go back to the question of, why are y'all not willing to spend $160 on these singles events? Why are y'all not coming to these singles mixers? Why are you not coming to a singles game night or a church singles event? Because y'all don't actually like men. Y'all don't actually want the men that come there. But y'all want the man to come there, pay the money, pay the fee to get rejected. I think I'll take my talents elsewhere.
It is. I actually made the effort this time. I went up to two people
at the bar, and I was going towards the bar, and I started talking to him, and he was a nice, statuesque.
I need black women to understand that these single dating events, they are not created for you. They are not created with you being the main demographic in mind. Now, I'm not from Houston, but I've never been to a dating event in my life. I will die not ever going to a dating event in my life. Because if you look at the trend of what both of those women stated, they both stated that they approached these men at the dating event. And this is why men think that they're the prize. Dating events are for men. Dating events are not for women. You have to think, as a man, what setting are women repeatedly trying to go to put themselves in proximity to have a man talk to them, to be able to have a relationship with a man? Where out in the wild are women intentionally trying to create a situation in which this is happening?
Well, what's happening is you guys are trying to control each and every situation, and you're not in control of it. So when a man has, it's not even a little bit of power. Maybe the man's not even looking for power. The men that y'all want are going to these events, if they even do come, knowing that they can do this. Y'all are only focusing on the guys that are going to do you like that. That's what men keep on saying. Maybe there's a few guys out there that actually do you wrong, but for the most part, y'all are focusing on the guys that are trashing you like this, instead of looking like a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right and picking the guy who's actually interested in you and is trying to get your attention all night.
There is no place. That is the reason why you have to literally pay. A place has to create an event in which they curate this situation where they say, okay, there are women out here that want a man. These men do not go to these dating events to find someone to court, to marry, to deal with. These men go to these dating events primarily for two reasons. The first reason is that they need a validation boost. They don't get to go to places regularly and get validation. So these dating events, they're able to go and be like, oh, well, you know, there are women here that are seeking out a man. This is actually an opportunity where I can feel like I'm wanted because women are coming here specifically to want to deal with men. It's an artificial way in which men can kind of get that lack of validation itch scratched. It's a way for them to feel better about themselves. The second, if this dating event has a demographic where it is going to be a lot of black men and a lot of black women going, but there's also going to be a mixture, this is a playground for black women or for black men. This is a playground for black men to humble black women. Black men will specifically go to these events knowing that there are going to be other races of women there, and they will specifically make it obvious that they are showing a disinterest in black women to lower your self-esteem.
Again, I feel like you're only looking at it from one side of the floor. Sometimes these women are going to these tech events, and at these tech events, some of these men are making a lot of money, and they're going there specifically knowing that these men are making a lot of money. And so now they're going to try to get with this man who's making a lot of money. And when that man says, oh, looks like I all want money, let me see which one is willing to let me hit for the lowest amount of my effort. You've presented him with an opportunity because you're so thirsty. But of course, keep on saying that it's the men's fault. These events are not set up for you because you're coming up in there thirsty. And your thirst and your lust is leading you down a wrong path.
Just like Cecilia Regina says that marriage is a humiliation ritual, these dating events are a humiliation ritual for black women, especially when black men are in attendance and there are a mixture of races amongst the women. It is a form of energy harvesting. The whole point of these dating events is for black women to go get their energy harvested primarily by black men, because that's typically the demographic that they're seeking. Get their energy harvested and then have their self-esteem be low, that they keep repeating the cycle. They keep going back to these same men that are disrespecting them and showing them a disinterest with a level of optimism and a level of reflecting back on yourself to ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? Because that's what that girl said. I actually made the effort this time because obviously things didn't go right the first time when the men were making the effort. The harsh reality is that black women especially, a lot of black men are on the pursuit to drain your energy, to harvest your energy, to make you question yourself, to make you feel bad about yourself.
How's that going to be true? And most black men are marrying black women. You're saying that black men have a disdain for black women, but they're getting married to them. Disdain and all. What are you talking about right now? Disdain, but the divorce percentages is what, 70, 80, 90% of the time women are leaving these marriages. I seem to recall a woman talking about, I picked up, got another job in another state, apartment and everything. About 3 months. Decided to come back after that. I needed time for myself. I needed time for me. What are you talking about right now?
And they will specifically go to these events that they know that you are going to specifically to humble you. I cannot tell you how many men I've known, even if I've been at a bar or even if I've been at a club, if I've met a man and they had a mutual, I've literally had their, like, the mutual or even like their homeboy or friend be like, oh yeah, like, you know, actually, he didn't really want to approach you because he realizes that, like, you're pretty and he didn't want to, like, pump your head up too much, and, like, he didn't want to give you any attention because he just didn't want to make you feel good about yourself. He didn't want to make you get the big head, so he just chose to not approach you. And I'm not saying that that's always the case, but I'm just giving you an anecdotal example of how it looks like with the mindset that some of these men will have when they're going to these dating events.
And that's exactly what it is. Anecdotal. He actually gave you some feedback that you probably want to take into consideration. I don't want to give you a big head. I was going to approach you, but I don't want to boost your ego. Maybe instead of saying, oh, well, he's intimidated, maybe you now say, am I giving that off? Am I being too uppity? Do I have RBF? You might not, but maybe you do.
Most of these men, regardless of what their race is anyway, they're not there looking for their wife. They're looking there to get an ego boost. They're looking there to get some punani. They're looking to gauge what value of woman they can quote unquote purchase. What hierarchy of woman do they qualify for? Because out in the wild, men aren't able to gauge these things. On the dating apps, men are not able to gauge these things. They have to create these artificial environments in which men can put themselves in a position to be chosen. This is the reason why men are thinking that they're the prize. Because black women are working way too hard to keep dealing with a demographic that doesn't have anything to offer you. They don't have anything to offer you for you to be going out of your way to talk to them. Because guess what? They're not going out of their way to talk to you. Their whole goal is to have you leave this event and feel worse about yourself than you did before you got there. That's the whole point of this. The whole point of this is to pump their ego up by stomping and stepping down on your self-esteem, on your confidence, on your self-concept. There is no amount of effort that you need to do. Quit approaching these men. I would really go as far as to say, stop going to these dating events. I have yet to hear a story time on this app telling me in excitement about how they are having a strong, healthy, good relationship with someone that they met from a dating event. The places that host these dating events, even they know that you're not going to find somebody. They just want to have something profitable and lucrative so that they can all get paid, so that they can pay the rent for the place, so that way they can pay for the liquor and the food and yada, yada, yada. That's what their mindset is. They are not hosting these events in hopes that you get somebody. That's why they keep having the events. These social dating events are nothing but dating apps put into the real world. That's all they are. All they are is creating a situation, a real life situation based off of how things would look on a dating app, a real life Bumble. A lot of these women that are going to these, dating events, you're treating it like a real life Bumble. There is no reason why you're approaching a guy first. There's no reason why you're approaching a guy first, and there's no reason why you should be putting yourself in a predicament where you are searching for a man. Every time I hear these story times, I would say 95% of the women that talk about their experience, they regret going and they feel as though it was a waste of money. It's either the men don't want to talk, the men don't want to communicate, the men that they want to deal with don't want to deal with them. It's just the same people that are having the same old conversation. You don't have anything to gain by putting yourself in these situations. All you're doing is putting yourself in a situation where your energy is being drained and harvested. Please stop engaging in these events that don't have anything to offer you and that don't have your best interest at heart.
But it's the women creating these events, though. You know what I mean? It's you guys creating these events. Well, y'all are creating these events and y'all are saying y'all are curating it. If you created the event, I'm curating it for a high value man because I'm high value. That's what y'all say. I'm going to these events where I'm well intentioned. I'm trying to scan and see, did I include that? Is this in my compilation? Yes, it is right there. Maria was talking about, I want to create an event because I'm intentional. I have standards and I'm not accepting the bare minimum in so many words. And so she said, I want to create an event for this type of thing. So if y'all are creating these types of events and y'all are attracting women that are supposed to be quote unquote high value with high standards, and you are looking for men and you're inviting men and enticing men with these, high standards that you have, and they're supposed to be high value, that's half the battle, because men a lot of times are not going to these things, right? So you've already won half the battle. Now you got to give the man who is also high value what he wants. And unfortunately for you, the men in this situation are absolutely in a position of power. You can't hold yourself. Most modern women are looking for a man that makes six figures. He's handsome, tall, dark, and handsome. It could be a white boy. It could be a Mexican. It don't matter. If he's got what you're looking for, that's what you're looking for. Period. He's got the power. And because y'all say y'all are in a chopped man epidemic, then it makes it so incredibly rare. Like the rareness and the value goes up. And so now you kind of have to say, shoot, I gotta get a man what he wants, or else he's not gonna play ball. And that's when all the other women, I got standards, I got morals. Okay, well, to the side. And girl, I told him that I wasn't gonna do this because I'm a man, I'm a woman of morals. So, all right, to the side, get out the way. We don't want to hear that. That's what you're running across. Men that don't want to hear that. Now you're upset because you're not in a position of power, but you put yourself in this position because you won't accept a man that's probably on your level.
Because when I walked in, it was packed. And what do you think I saw? What do you think I saw?
What did you see?
Exactly what I thought I was going to see.
What?
80 women sitting alone. No men in sight. None.
I saw so many Black women try to solve a problem in dating by starting to host events in person, trying to create third spaces to facilitate dating like offline. And you know what would happen every single time? The men were not signing up. They would be selling tickets to speed dating, and they would always end up with men's tickets on sale. Always, because they weren't buying any. Just the other day, a big account that I follow for Black creatives did like this cute Cupid thing where they were like, hey, send us a profile about yourself and we would love to post it and like play matchmaker. Sounds like a cute idea, right? Not one single man sent their profile in. And mind you, this is an account that has well over 100,000 followers. It's just time to stop. It's time to stop. They have made it very loud and clear that they do not.
Singles event, and here's why I think we're doomed to be single for the rest of our lives. That was a bit dramatic, but let me tell my story. So I went to singles night at Union Church's Charlotte campus. Now, I don't go to that church, but I started following Pastor Stephen since he was a guest pastor at my church earlier this month. And when I found out that he was writing a book on dating and relationships, I was interested because, listen, your girl could use some divine intervention in that area. But I'll be honest, I didn't want to go at first. I figured it's a Christian singles event. There's going to be 11 women there and like 2 men. Plus, they were advertising it as a conversation that you wouldn't expect to have at church. And I thought, I've heard enough of those modern dating and relationship podcasts. I don't need to hear any more, especially not with a biblical spin. Instead of having meaningful conversations about finding and building Christ-centered relationship,
we just left the event. So bad. I think we were just saying that we think that we've actually hit rock bottom.
No, it was actually.
We think we've actually hit rock bottom, and I think we were either punked, catfished, or
it felt like a sick joke.
And my spirit, while I was there, my spirit told me, no mas, por favor. I am not going to no more. of these. Okay? That rhymed, period. I'm not going to anymore. And here's why. So that singles event was cool because they actually had a mix and mingle session at the end where they put us in a very cool atmosphere for people to talk and meet with each other. Although there was like 3 men there and 300 women, I loved the fact that they did that. I thought that was really cool. But my thing is, you go to one single event, you go to them all. They got the same message, and I'm going to tell y'all what they be saying so that you can know ahead of time. If you feel like you're called to go, go. If you feel like the Lord is telling you to go, go. If you've never been, go. If you want to mix and mingle with other single people, go. But let me tell you, this is going to be the singles conference starter pack. I'm going to tell you what you're going to get. Okay?
I'm gonna get hate for this, but whatever. I approached a black man this week at like a dating event and he was not interested in me. And that by itself is like not a great story, right? I tried to shoot my shot. He was not interested. I moved on. But immediately after I walked away from this man, he went up to a group of 5 white women and he introduced himself to all of them. And then I kind of observed out of like the corner of my eye for the rest of the evening, this man was only going up and talking to different white women. Later that night, another very attractive black man came in, the exact same thing, only talked to the white women that were in the room. There were maybe 6 or 7 black women throughout. And I could tell, I would look over at the black women occasionally, they would be looking, we would all be observing the same thing. We're all thinking the same thing, right? And as someone who has reviewed a bunch of different like dating events, I have seen this play out so many times where you walk into a room, the black women are looking for other black men and the black men are not looking for black women. Unless the host of the event is like a black person or a person of color. And as much as I say that I am going to start dating outside my race, my mind, whenever I walk into like...
I think we just finished watching a woman talk about why men wouldn't go. Men are the demons. They're the devils, remember? Like these guys, they're Satan. Let her tell it. These guys are no good. They're no good. They don't need to be around women because women are the prize. If you can't get with the program, you don't need to be around these women. If you can't pay a bill, if you can't pay some hair appointment or salon treatments or whatever and whatnot, and you need to be paying it regularly, then we don't need you. Y'all are wondering why men are not showing up, why men stop coming to these singles events. It's because y'all are going to figure out a way. Let's go back to the clip at the beginning of the video. When they were talking about, oh, we're about to go to they thought they were cute in doing this. We're about to go to a singles event and there's going to be no eligible men there. So we're going anyway, knowing that there are not going to be any men that qualify for us, that meet our standard. Okay, is that how it goes on? Talking all that trash. And then when men see that and they say, oh, okay, well, let me go ahead and cancel my reservation. Why aren't men coming? Why we gotta pay men to come? Because hanging around y'all and the way y'all talk about men, don't want to be there.
Come with me to singles night that my church is putting on. It's gonna be a lot of people tonight. Watch out for the lukewarms. We're going on a trip. Dude, this outfit. Okay, we have to. My name is Chloe.
He has my best interest in heart.
Watch me, oh, watch me, watch me, watch me. We're getting ice cream. I have to dance for I will.
Oh, here we go. Again, I can't lie, that kind of look lit. I saw that Coca-Cola there. I was like, all that Coca-Cola? It's my favorite drink. I probably would have gone for the Coke. I ain't gonna lie to you. I probably would have been there. I mean, but that looked lit. It looked lit. They looked like they had a little, how low can you go? And they had a little dance floor going on out there. It didn't look too uptight. Once again, if a man is able to get in there without people looking at him like he's not supposed to be there, like he's not supposed to be there, then I think that men wouldn't have a problem, because it takes the edge off of having to perform. A lot of times men feel like they have to perform for these ladies. They have to, perform for basic respect, basic, just dignity. I don't want to pay $80 for that. I don't want to pay upwards of $160 for that. That's not how I want to spend my night. So I think, looking at stuff like this it's pretty cool, man. I wouldn't mind going.
So I'm going to my first singles event, and it just so happens to be a tall person singles dating event. So all the women will be 6 foot plus, and I'm 6'7", so should be fitting. If there's anything that comes out of tonight, I just want to find a person to swing dance with. Here we go. We're going to the dating event. We're a basketball team out here. 6'5", 6'4", 6'7". Let's see how this goes. The girls over there.
All right, guys, let's huddle up real quick. Did you guys get any matches? Did you guys ask?
I did not ask. I'm scared of women. Can we have a little bit more time?
Yeah, is that why? All right, and that's a wrap, guys. How did it go? If you guys found a match and you want to go out on a date with somebody else and you talked about it, please step forward.
Finger guns.
Hey, you better be careful out there, Doc. Don't move too fast now. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you, that looked fun. That looked like a good time. It didn't look like they was too uptight. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong. If you got a singles event like this, where it didn't look like, well, I didn't see the whole thing. I just saw the highlights. But it didn't look like the women were too uppity. Like they would be willing to talk. Well, I mean, the guy's 6'5". He said they got a whole basketball team, so that might play into it. But I don't want to be too negative. I don't know, man. I don't know.
So I'm going to a dating event this weekend, or a singles event this weekend. I am so nervous, but this company saw my video of my experience from a Thursday singles event, and they DM'd me and invited me to their dating event. So we will see how it goes. I'm going alone, which is something I did not recommend doing, but here we are. I actually posted a couple weeks ago saying that I need to start living my life and doing things alone and getting comfortable with that. So I felt like this was a sign to do exactly that. So that's why I agreed to go to this event. Wish me luck. I'm terrified. I'm so nervous. I'm excited, but mainly nervous. Actually, so scared.
It's funny because there's a man, I think, in the comments here that says they are hit and miss. Okay, he says, I've been to 3, each by different groups. It's a wild range in quality. And that's also a gamble for men, because going back to paying about, let's say on average, $80, is anybody in the chat going to continue to pay $80 for a crapshoot? Now I know modern women will, because they feel like, oh, well, it's a chance at love, and they romanticize this type of stuff. So they get charged a premium. But men, even though they want love and companionship, they live a little bit more in reality. So this type of stuff about, well, go ahead and pay this $80 to have a drink. You get 2 free drink tickets. I can get a drink. Let me tell you what, I can get a drink and food and hang out with my boys for about $40-$50. I can save $30. How about that?
The jury is no longer out. I need to stop doing things for the plot. I am like the prime example of curiosity killed the cat, because the way I just always have to investigate things and see things for myself, it is slowly killing me. I walked into that event last night and I wanted to die. It was so bad that I almost couldn't wait until today to update you guys. I was gonna do a video last night as soon as I got home, but then I ended up passing out. And of course, a lot of things are all about the perspective, but I'm gonna tell you why for me, it was a big no. So for starters, when you walk in, you have to get a name tag. And that's fine. I guess that's a good thing. But also I was like, what if I don't want someone to know my name? I don't know. And then when I did walk in, I was like, okay, I was wrong. It's not just women here. But the men that were there were something. I could have turned and walked right back out immediately, and I should have. But I was still waiting on the 2 girls I was supposed to be meeting there to come. So I was trying not to bail before they got there. So I tried to walk around by myself for a minute. Thankfully, a a lot of people there were there alone. It was everyone's first time doing it. So I found some cool girls who like invited me over to their table and I got to talk to them for a little bit. But like, even if you were sitting with girls, like guys would always come over and talk. That's the whole point. I get it. But I was just like, I'm kind of just here for the girlies, I think. And so whenever a guy would come, I'm like, this is ruining the vibes.
And then we're back to this. I had hope there for a little bit, but then we're back to this, complaining. Well, I know we're supposed to go to the singles event for the actual point of being at a singles event, but I'm kind of here for the girls. Then why didn't you go to a random bar or something like that? If you're here for the girls, why didn't you go to a Pilates class if you're there for the girls? If you wanted to meet women, you could have gone where women traditionally congregate. This is immaturity. This is what men are trying to avoid.
Quite literally, the whole point in being there was to find like potential people to date. And to me, men being there, I was like, this is going to ruin the tour. Also, everyone was so short. Every single man there was like less than 5'10", or 5'10" or less, I mean. I was taller than all of them. Except one. There was one really, really tall man. None of them are attractive. Not one was attractive. Not even like, oh, he could, no, not close. And this is probably one of the meanest things that you would ever hear me say, but there was a man there that looked like the kind of guy you should be afraid of if he was walking towards a school. I have to be vague about this because I don't want TikTok to like ban me. Like quite literally just, he had really long hair and he just kept on like pushing it to the side of his face like it was like 2008. And he was just like walking around with his black clothes on, like with his head down, just pushing his hair out of the way the whole time. Never talked to a woman, ever. I'm like, why are you here? And I know some people are shy, but it was just bizarre. Eventually, the two girls that I was meeting got there. I liked them. One of them was super outgoing and like very fearless. So when eventually we did see that there was two men there, only two out of all the people that were not completely repulsive, but were sitting at a table the entire time with the same girls. And I was like, oh, like, I feel like they're off the market. They're like taken, like they came together. And I was like, wait, that's not the point of this. It's supposed to be only single people. So they're definitely single, but they're not talking to anyone else. So eventually one of the girls, I don't want to call her my friend yet, but she was just like, flagged one of the men down, brought him over, and then she was like, she wants to talk to you. And I was like, so then all three of us girls are holding a conversation with this one guy, which was awkward. It felt like I was on a freaking season of The Bachelor.
I think we've had enough. At least I have. We get it. You guys are not really ready. You're not intentional. I heard somebody at the beginning of this compilation say, we're intentional. We're high value. We're looking for the men. We're not looking to waste our time. They said, how come the men don't pay $160? It's right here. Ding, 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 ding. You got your answer. This why men not coming. This why it's why they're not paying. Why would I wouldn't even pay $10 to sit up here and see y'all try to roast me. Y'all are not funny. If I could get a laugh, then I might pay $10, $15. Oh, okay, that's funny. Laugh at myself, get something to eat and going back to the house. But y'all ain't even funny. Some of the time, with the way y'all be talking, some of y'all ain't even that cute, to be honest with you. No disrespect. I'm not coming.